I said, Pete and General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon.
We are now 20 plus days into this war. Militarily, it has been an extraordinary success. We have complete control of the country. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force. We have all of their airspace. They're indiscriminately firing rockets, but basically have no command and control anymore. You know all of this stuff.
All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into a transcript that's got more twists than a pretzel factory. We're talking about Trump, war hawks, and the elusive peace deal that everyone's either cheering for or tearing their hair out over. Get ready to have some myths busted and some common sense injected, because this is going to be a wild ride.
There's some tension around the Strait of Hormuz, which obviously will be resolved. Gas prices did go up a little bit, about 40 cents. They are going to come back down. And now Donald Trump already, counter to this is World War III, thermonuclear war, forever war. It's like, have a little faith in Trump. Have a little imagination that America can do good things and good things might happen. And I'm telling you, mark my words, we're going to have new peace deals in the Middle East and a whole bunch more after this. But here's Donald Trump saying we are going to make a deal.
Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them.
Then why bother talking to them?
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Hold on a minute. Peace deals in the Middle East after talking about World War III and thermonuclear war? That's quite the tonal shift, isn't it? It's like saying we're teetering on the brink of global annihilation, but don't worry, my buddy Don's gonna whip up a peace treaty faster than you can say Abraham Accords. You gotta love the confidence, but let's pump the brakes just a second. Now, I appreciate the optimism truly, and Trump did prove a lot of skeptics wrong with his approach to the Middle East diplomacy before. Ushering in the historic Abraham Accords, he is a deal maker, no doubt. But let's be real, making a deal isn't always about kumbaya and holding hands. Sometimes making a deal means you just kick the can down the road, or you've extracted concessions under duress that might not hold up in the long run. There's a big difference between a temporary cessation of hostilities and true lasting peace. The left always screams about forever wars when a Republican is in office. Then they turned around and ignored the destabilizing policies that actually lead to them. Trump's critics were convinced he was going to plunge us into the endless conflict, yet here we are talking about him making a deal. It's almost like the narrative they push about him, shall we say, a tad bit inconsistent. They want to have it both ways. He's a warmonger, but he's also making peace. Which one is it? Let's just say I'll believe it when I see the ink dry, and then I'll be watching to see if that ink is actually permanent and not just a temporary pause before the next flare-up.
Related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related, and it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people.
Okay, so there's a couple of things here. First off, forever war, not going to happen. Number two, there's going to be some sort of deal where we will either have access to or American companies will be working with Iranian oil companies with some sort of new regime. There is some question as to who it is we are talking to right now, because the military leadership, the political leadership has largely been decimated. And by the way, that is still happening right now. So while there are going to be some talks, it sounds like they're going to be in Pakistan of all places in the next couple of days. The question is who really is in charge? Is anyone really in charge? Will they have the ability to truly negotiate as someone that holds some sort of authority with the people? There's always what I keep saying from the beginning of this thing, there's still part two of this story, which is whoever is going to be in charge now, are they going to be different than the mullahs? Are the Persian people going to get their country back? But that's the secondary part of this. The military part that we are concluding now, I would say we probably got about 2 weeks on it, something like that. This is part one of the movie. We'll get to part two of the movie, but all right, what is he saying? They already came to us and said that there's going to be some deal around the oil.
All right, stop. Did you just catch that? The speaker just laid out the absolute glaring common sense flaw in this whole deal premise. You're going to be making a deal with leadership that's largely decimated? And you're asking who's really in charge? This isn't just a minor detail, it's the entire foundation of any lasting agreement. This is like trying to buy a house from someone who doesn't actually own the property, or signing a multi-million dollar contract with a company whose CEO just got fired. The board is in complete disarray, and half their workforce walked out yesterday. Who are you even negotiating with? Are these quote-unquote deals worth the paper they're printed on, if the people signing them have no real authority or legitimacy in the eyes of their own populace? It's a house of cards, folks. It's a recipe for instability, not peace. If the right people you're dealing with today are gone tomorrow, or if the people they claim to represent don't recognize their authority, then what exactly have you accomplished? You've essentially signed a napkin with a ghost. It sounds less like a peace deal and more like a temporary truce based on coercion and convenience for one side, which historically tends to have a rather short shelf life. True peace requires legitimate partners, and if you're not even sure who's holding the reins, then you're just setting yourself up for the next crisis. It's a classic case of wishful thinking overriding geopolitical reality, and that rarely ends well for America or anyone else involved.
Kind of sounds like Venezuela, doesn't it? There's going to be some deal around some of their stuff, the 80% of their oil that gets exported to China. Well, now America will have something to do with it. So this is just, again, it's just for all the people, particularly on the right, that thought Trump was going to get us into some never-ending war and troops on the ground and occupation and regime change in the way that we think of regime change, say like when we deposed Saddam in Iraq. It was just it was always complete nonsense, and it was just to steal your attention and confuse you and everything else. Guys, here's Trump talking about how Hegseth and General Dan Kane were kind of pissed that the war is about to wrap up.
Disappointed. I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete and General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's these guys are doing a great job. That's a good attitude, though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing. Yeah, please.
Mr. President.
I mean, again, it's just a perfect example of why I keep saying we're never going to have a more honest president, and he's giving you a little bit of the insider glean. Like, you could see them sitting in a meeting and Trump being like, you know what, we've talked to them, we're going to get some of the oil, we're going to wrap this thing up, we accomplished most of the goals. You could see Hegseth sitting in there and going, but we can keep going, there's more to do, we're winning. Like, you could see that, and then Trump gives you a little bit of that publicly, a little bit, and he admires them. It's why, it felt kind of silly. I wonder the day that they changed the name from Department of Defense to Department of War, I wonder what I said exactly. I probably said it sounds a little silly, but I don't mind it. That would be my guess. Maybe someone can find that. But it's like, maybe there was a real reason, a real fundamental reason to change the name of the Department of Defense to Department of War. We're not just going to sit back and wait anymore. We are going to lead. And when we have a Department of War that is not looking for war, but will perform war when necessary, then we are going to do it at the maximum level of competency.
And there you have it, folks. Another deep dive into the political spin cycle. Whether it's peace deals with questionable players or the media's never-ending narrative gymnastics, it's clear we need to keep our eyes wide open and our BS detectors fully charged. What do you think about these peace deals and the idea of war hawks getting their feathers ruffled? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more unfiltered truth bombs. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.